Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers and we're coming to you live tonight from Suzuka in Japan for round 5 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. So as always, right beside me here is my partner in crime, and that is Mr. Alex McKellar. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Bernie. Great to be back again for what will no doubt once again shape up as a pretty exciting race here at a fantastic full Grand Prix circuit here at Suzuka this week. Plenty of action, no doubt, on this fast and flowing circuit, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is. A lot of action we'll be expecting here tonight, that's for sure. And if we have a look at the race information tonight, folks, the race length is going to be 10 laps, not 2, because we're in qualifying at the moment. Coming to you, as I said, Suzuka, Japan, track length 5.75 kilometres. Weather out there today, Alex, partly cloudy, 38 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, pretty warm out there. The times will suffer a bit, but certainly a bit of fun out there for the guys on somewhat slipperier grip levels. But this field tonight, Bernie, I have to say, is outstanding. This is the strongest field we've had here for a very long time, and in fact, we've all but taken out the strongest field for the week, tapping out at 4,230 for the strength of field, Bernie, just a smidge behind the big US race for the week that happens earlier in the week. And certainly what that means is for the guys here tonight, there's plenty on offer in terms of championship points and I rating and the like, Bernie, as well as some no doubt really exciting competition.
Yeah, fantastic. And you know, we've got, as always, a big mix, haven't we, between the European drivers or the international drivers, the Aussie and New Zealand drivers. So we've got Mikko Nasi out there at the moment. He's set provisional pole, as we can see him now. And, well, they're still waiting to start their top lap, but he is seeded as number 1. Absolutely.
Mikko, one of, if not the premier driver of the Skip Barber category on iRacing. I note that Enzo Cantor, of course, is out there seated number 2 with Dennis Johansson number 3. Top international drivers in the top 3. Tom Ward, another from the UK and Ireland club, who's again in the top handful of skippy drivers in the world. Fantastic field tonight with Luke Whitten, the leading Australian driver, Australian New Zealand club member, only ranked number 7, but he's certainly got pace to burn and will no doubt be fighting well up and truly in the top 5 tonight, Bernie.
Yeah, and if we have a race like we did last week with that finish Phillip Island, then we're going to be in for a fantastic event here. I'm interested to see how Andrew goes. He's seated in 10th position, I think, 8th. Where is he? Yeah, 10th.
They're all jumping around because of the qualifying, of course. He's car number 9 and he's still yet to set a qualifying time just yet. No, he hasn't quite gone over the line yet, but interestingly enough, car number 17, the Team Milo driver Russell Clark, being the last car to sneak into this extraordinary field with an I rating of 3,346. It's getting tougher and tougher to get into the Monday Night Lights field, Bernie, and commensurately I expect the quality of the driving and the action to be incredible as a result.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's becoming quite the event at the moment, and let's hope it continues. No reason why it wouldn't, but we can see at the moment Luke Whitten out there, provisional pole 2:22.277, and Andrew Procario is sitting provisionally in second with a 2:22.498.
Yeah, challenging time of day for Andrew over in the US, of course. It's middle of the night over there, if I'm not mistaken. But Luke Whitten, we said before, ranked number 7 for this event, but certainly got the pace to be right up the front. Word on the street is he's been performing really well here this week and very competitive and clean lines. So I'm hoping our current series leader will keep that sort of track record that he's got so far intact and put on a great performance tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And we can see Hakon Grebstad out there at the moment. He's seeded in 3rd, but his fastest time, 2:22.612, but his last lap wasn't counted by the looks of it.
Yeah, Hawkon, this is his first trip to Suzuka in the skips. Down on pace earlier in the week, but put in the hard yards and certainly sitting right up the front at the moment, Bernie. Sitting in third place provisionally with still one time lapped to score, Bernie.
Yeah, so we'll see how they go. Now, folks, if you can see the qualifying top 10 there, some of the drivers don't have a time. That's their previous lap time, not their fastest lap time, so I'll fix that. But at the moment, we've got Sam Katakizinos. He's sitting in 10th. He just got pushed down by Ismael Hernandez, who pushed him out. But also Russell Clark, he's now been pushed down to 13th. So the final laps, it's starting to get the pressure on.
Absolutely, Bernie, as the drivers start completing their second of two hot laps, of course, in qualifying, solo qualifying here, so no draft, it's all of your own time and skill. And interestingly, car number one, Miko Nassi, is sitting down in 8th position after having done his 2 laps, Bernie. So the Finnish driver's got his work cut out for him, but if anyone's going to make a good fist of it from there, I would expect Miko to, Bernie.
Oh yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how he goes coming through the field, and if he can come through the field. But qualifying's finished, so what we'll do, folks, is let's have a look at our grid, and we'll see who's starting where. So Luke Whitten will start out a pole position tonight from Australia, followed by Andrew Picario. He's coming from New York. Enzo Cantor out of 3rd, followed by Andrew Welter in 4th. Dennis Johansson from Scandinavia, he will start out of 5th, with Hakon Grebstad starting in 6th position. Out of 7th will be Tom Ward, followed by Miko Nasi in 8th. Timu Vascalampi out of 9th. Borja Zazo will start out of 10th tonight. Ismael Hernandez 11th. 12th is Benjamin Soko. 13th, Sam Katakizinos, followed by Russell Clark in 14th. 15th is Jeremiah Morton. 16th, Ben Snell. And rounding out your field of 17 is Gustavo Conde.
Yeah, Bernie, can't overstate how impressed I am with Luke ending up on pole for this race. Bernie, leading local driver, of course, and showing his class, but that's an outstanding effort, Bernie.
It certainly is, to snatch pole, and a field of this size starting from pole position, that's where you want to be, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you can make good runnings from here. A lot of draft here to keep guys in touch. The front fuel, no doubt, looking to get through the first couple of corners cleanly, see what sort of break they can make, if any, while the rest chase it out and fight it out amongst themselves.
Yeah, for sure. So we're under starters orders here now, folks. So waiting for the green light at Suzuka. Green light, where you go. And a nice clean start. Enzo Cantor straight across the front of Miko Nasi there. He's telling him, it wasn't Miko, it was number 9. So Luke Whitten at the moment's taken the lead, followed by Andrew Picario, and then Enzo's in 3rd.
Yeah, Tom Ward it was cutting across Miko's nose there, making it clear that he wanted the inside run into the first corner, creatively and conveniently named first corner, of course, here. And that's the line you really want to take if you want to be defensive into that first corner, Bernie. But it looks like everyone's got through cleanly as we head around into the snaky S section now, Bernie.
Yeah, it's looking like a nice clean start here. So Luke Whitten is still leading Andrew Picario. Enzo Cantor sitting in 3rd. As I was saying, Andrew Welter, though, he's up into 4th, with Dennis Johansson starting to put the pressure on.
Yeah, impressively, Andrew also qualified well up the field in 4th position, Bernie. The field largely holding station, with the exception of a couple of movements down in the lower end of the field, Bernie. But everyone really looking to make a clean fist of it, knowing that the race isn't won here, of course, in the opening lap, but towards the end, and all working really cleanly in what is a very impressive start to this race, Bernie.
Yeah, we're watching them come through the hairpin for the first time, Alex, and still no contact, so very impressive start to this race. And we'll see now as the pressure starts to climb. We're on lap 0. That's my overlays of 10 laps here tonight.
Yeah, of course, 10 laps around here is a very long time, equivalent to the same around Bathurst, but not quite the same elevation changes, you'd say, but far more flowing GP-style circuit, as we said at the start. And again, they're nose to tail, with just the biggest gap probably opening up between Dennis Johansson and Håkon Grebstad in fifth and sixth respectively. Håkon looking to use the draft down the back stretch as they head through 130R now, Bernie, for the first time, and into that final 15-16 chicane to see what they can make of it.
Yeah, we're riding with Andrew Welter as they go in. Enzo gets a bit squirrely there, gathers it up. But that's his little brother, as he'd call it, giving him a bit of grief.
His little brother certainly making work hard for his money tonight, Bernie. Dennis Johansson getting a poor run. Looks like he might lose out to both Håkon and Tom Ward. I'm suggesting, as Miko Nassi goes by as well, that he probably picked up a slowdown, perhaps a cut track through that final corner as he went through quite a wild ride in the tail of Enzo there, who got loose himself, Bernie.
Yeah, you can see the battle pack at the moment, Håkon versus Miko Nassi here. Timu Vuskalampi 7/10 down from these guys, but I tell you what, the pressure is definitely on here tonight, and you can tell by the standard of driving we have on offer.
Absolutely, Bernie. Just following up on Dennis Johansson, he's dropped like a stone to the tail end of the field, Bernie. Looked to not be able to clear that slowdown penalty prior to dropping right down to the rear, Bernie, with that front pack of three now, with Luke Whitten, Andrew Picario and Enzo Cantor looking to break away. Andrew Welter still sporting that fantastic double RTV livery, sitting in fourth, but really going to have to battle hard now to stay in touch.
Yeah, we just saw Miko Nassi. He's now up to sixth position as he just got past Håkon.
Yeah, well, if Miko, if anyone, is going to be able to bridge these gaps, he's already up the two positions. One, of course, via Dennis Johansson's cut track penalty. Another he's earned on the track somewhere. He's gone past Håkon, notably as well. So now just, 2.5 seconds behind, 7/10 behind. Who's that in front? Tom Ward in front, looking to bridge that gap and get on the back and really make a fight for the top steps on the podium, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's got to keep on doing what the side of his car says, and that's full focus, so that's what he'll be doing tonight.
That's right, as we see Andrew Picario looking to make a run up the back stretch, use that draft and go past into 130R. Luke will just tuck him behind. Enzo, no doubt, he's lifted a little bit to sit him behind these three, Bernie. Probably a little bit wary after his first stretch into that final chicane, Bernie, and looking hopefully to see if he can't keep that gap, although Andrew Welter closing right up under brakes, Bernie.
We've just had Håkon Grebstad come off big time here, so we'll jump back and have a look at this replay, folks. And have a look what's happened. I think that was 130R he's come off.
Yeah, not uncommon here. He's just got the right rear on the outside of 130R, and that'll cause the rears to step out and send you across the track. Fortunately, no one else involved in that. He waited patiently on the far side of the track, Bernie. Little kiss to the wall. I'd suggest he wouldn't have too much damage out of that, Bernie. Should be able to continue, but certainly his night at the competitive end of this field is probably over at that point, Bernie.
Yeah, I'd say so. We're just having a look at the super slow-mo. We pretty much know how this is going to end, as you've already called it, but I like the Ferrari livery. May not be so nice if he hits the wall, but it looks nice. Looks to business.
It looked nice going through the pits, and he did actually have to take the fast repair that's available to the drivers in this series, Bernie. But back up in front now, it's a pack of many at the moment. Miko Nassi sitting on the back in P6 at the moment with a 2-second gap over Timo Vuskalampi in P7. I suggest the winner of this race is probably sitting in these front six at this moment, Bernie.
Yeah, we've got Andrew Welter at the moment, and he's sitting in fifth, so just ahead of Miko now, so he's in a good position. His paint scheme's throwing me a bit, because the paint scheme I can see on Andrew's car, it looks like it's purple and yellow.
Yeah, no, I've still got the double RTV livery from last week, which is good to see, but no, I'd suggest this would be a great experience for Andrew. We know he's got the pace, but the company he's keeping tonight have all got the experience on him. It'll be interesting to see how he stands up against that. The likes of Miko Nassi sitting in your mirrors would be looming very large. Miko taking quite a tight line through Spoon there, much tighter than Andrew there. Interesting to see. No doubt trying to cater a little bit to the understeer that you get in the draft as they all head up the backstretch once again to see how they line out. Or as we see Luke now, He pulled up to the inside, but Andrew Beccario got a bit loose. Enzo now looking to go around the outside of 130R. Very brave indeed, perhaps taking a strategic 1X as he goes very wide there, looking to come back on. A bit cheeky if he takes the inside line into the final chicane. He backs out of it and allows Luke to go through cleanly there and fortunately not break up this lead pack, Bernie.
Yeah, and he's come on just in front of Tom Ward here. Andrew's right behind him and Miko right behind him. But I was going to say, as they came into 130R, what an opportunity it is for Andrew to mix it with this calibre of driving. You know, it's something for the young driver that I think he's going to cherish, and he's really good. He's a great driver, but he's getting blooded, I guess you could say, with this level of driving calibre, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. A great field here tonight for Andrew to cut his teeth, so to speak. Like I said, he's got the pace here. Interesting to see if he's got the patience and the consistency to stick it with these guys. Tom Ward had a fantastic look around the outside into the first corner there, Bernie. Enzo holding him off up the inside, but great side-by-side action as they continue up around the back of the circuit now, Bernie.
Yeah, we're starting on lap 4 now, folks, and I wonder if Enzo's thinking about what happened last week. He's a driver, he wouldn't be, but yeah, you know, we sort of went through a whole Phillip Island like this, didn't we? And then it got a bit full on in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, well, different position for him here, of course. He qualified third and he's running third at the moment. He's running quite a smart race, I think. He's lifted here and there, although he went wide through 130R last time round. Probably pushing a bit hard. And going too wide through there is very difficult and tough to pull off. But interestingly, I'm still seeing Miko Nassi sitting patiently on the back of this track, maybe biding his time, letting some of the action unfold and looking to pounce later in the race. But there's still over half this race remaining here. Plenty of time, plenty of corners and action ahead of him. So very patient work after Miko sort of got up a couple of positions. He's made a gap. There's no need for him to put pressure on anyone in front, more so than they're doing themselves. Bernie is once again Enzo pulling to the outside. Very difficult to do here because both of them have got the toe initially. Enzo right around the outside. He's made the position, looking to make two. He's got to be careful there. We've already seen Hawkon lose it through there, Bernie, but Enzo managing to hold on to it and cheekily again looking to go up the inside. Tom Ward also looking to make a move, Bernie. It's all happening.
Yeah, Tom tried to go with Enzo there and he got a little bit squirrely, and the number 10 also Andrew there taking a lot of extra track work there. But I'll tell you what, as we always see, they're way on the limit again tonight.
Using every bit of the circuit and more. I'm going to suggest if Dennis picked up a 3 wide, they're going into the first corner, Bernie. I'm surprised Tom Ward didn't pick up a slowdown penalty there. We saw Dennis Johansson pick up one earlier, but on the exit of the final corner there, Bernie, second to the last corner, I should say, out of that final chicane, Luke makes the move up the inside through the turn 4 snake bend, Bernie, to hold on to fifth. They've got to be careful, those two, not to lose this front pack. Because they'll just skate away if these two keep battling. But so as I was saying, I'm really surprised that Tom Ward didn't pick up a slowdown penalty there. But he went very wide on exit, but he's managed to hang on, and he's again putting pressure on Andrew Precario in for second spot, Bernie.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of pressure on, isn't he? And you can see now as we ride with him how close he's getting to these three. But look at Miko Nassi though, he's up to 4th position now. He's starting to look dangerous.
Yeah, he's playing a very patient watch and wait game, looking at the other guys trying to make all their moves, Bernie, and moves they've been attempting, absolutely. The really interesting thing here for me is Enzo's now in front, Bernie. I'd say there'd be a few guys rolling their eyes at him going around the outside of 130R 2 laps in a row the way he did, Bernie, to eventually take the lead through the final chicane. But certainly, as they look to go 3 wide into Spoon almost, Bernie, that's very brave. Not many people will get through there 2-3 wide and live to tell it. They straighten out now, and once again, I'm looking at Miko, as you say, just sitting on the back as they head up the back stretch to see what happens through 130R this time round.
Yeah, we're riding with Tom Ward here, and we'll see what happens. Last time he got a bit excited. We'll see this time almost 3 wide. Hold your breath, folks. It's starting to get interesting.
It's getting very interesting. It looks like Andrew Picario said, well, if it's good enough for you, Enzo, it's good enough for me. Oh, he's just hung onto the rear there. Birdie got very loose through 130R, as we've already seen. It got the better of Hawk on there, but Andrew Picario, I must admit, I've not seen him race in the skips before, and he's certainly putting on a great performance here in this incredibly strong field.
Yeah, and one thing Enzo does through 130R where the other guys aren't, when he goes outside, he actually goes right across the ripple strip into the runoff and then rejoins, where these guys are trying to do the same, but they're actually hooking their wheels across that ripple strip, and that's what's causing them to be to come unsteady, as Enzo Cantor now on the inside of Andrew Picario. It looks like Enzo's going to take it, or is he? Tom Ward wants a piece of this.
Oh, yeah, he's working hard to get back in front. The other thing I noticed, Bernie, is through that 130R, Enzo took a very narrow line through it as well. The other guys, not, as you say, they're running wide. They're not running as wide as Enzo did. Once you go out really wide out through 130R as Enzo did, you take away all the risk of losing traction to the rear and spitting off to either side of the circuit. So Enzo, in making those big moves, has played it safe at the same time, Bernie. Strategically taking an off-track there has been known to happen through this week, certainly, as once again Tom Ward putting incredible pressure nose to tail on the back of Enzo there as they head down to the hairpin on lap 6.
And if you heard that slight bang, folks, that was me nearly falling off my chair. But I strapped myself in for the end of this race. And one thing this has allowed, though, with these four battling, it's allowed the two Aussies, Luke Whitten, Andrew Welter, to get back on the pack.
Yeah, it's great to see Luke Whitten, of course, our pole sitter tonight. We know he's got the pace then to stick with these guys. It's whether or not he's going to lift the intensity and get the elbows out and see if he can't make his way in front of these four world-class drivers in front of him, Bernie, as they head through Spoon again on lap 6. It all seems to be happening through this final section of the track. Enzo running very wide there. In fact, all four of them cracking a great bit of AstroTurf on the outside. That's really compromised Enzo's run. It'll be interesting to see how many of them try to make a move. Oh, he's come across there, looking to defend that position, but 3 wide through 130. I can't look.
Wait for Enzo. Oh, Enzo's been hit. 2 off, Tom Ward and Enzo Cantor.
Oh, that's a big one. Enzo looking to... he spun right out there, Bernie. If I go back, and I think I'm going to have to go back and have a look at that one, Bernie. Enzo made the mistake coming into the back stretch. That cost him his run, and then he's gone very wide and then turned in. Yeah, that's a tough one, Bernie. I'd suggest he's turned in almost like there were only 2 cars there, not 3. So it looks as though he's been able to continue, but he's all the way back in 14th, Bernie.
Yeah, he's come across the front there of Tom Ward, unfortunately, and that's pretty much put him off. Well, we'll see. You've told the story. We're looking at the pictures.
Yeah, so it looked to me like he turned in and probably just made a small misjudgment about the width that he needed to give the 2 cars on his inside, Bernie. But as you say, the other cars have been able to continue, which is fantastic. And I'm just trying to find a car to follow. I'm a bit stuck, Bernie. I'll hand back to you.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So at the moment, folks, we've got Miko Nasi. Now he's in the lead, so from that carnage, and he's starting to get a bit of a gap. We've got Luke Whitten, he's jumped up to 2nd, 3rd, Andrew Picario 4th, Tom Ward, and then Andrew Welter's still stalking him in 5th position.
Yeah, very good. I'm back with you now, Bernie. It's great to see. Oh, yeah, we've got Luke and Andrew Picario running 2 wide into the hairpin now, Bernie. Tom Ward, great to see he's been able to continue on after. Oh, he's given Luke a big nudge. They've gone nose to tail there. Miko Nasi also involved, and that's dropped Luke well back down the order, Bernie.
Yeah, that was a pretty big shunt, wasn't it, out of the hairpin, and Tom's now dropped down to 4th. Borja Zazo now jumps up to 3rd, so all this chaos that's unfolding, it's allowed a lot of these guys to catch back up again and actually capitalise on it.
Yeah, just watching the incident there, Bernie. Luke's had to he's taken a very narrow line into the hairpin, and he's caught the inside of the ripple strip, not really been able to get on the power in time, and Tom Ward up behind him has run into the rear of him, and then concertinaed with Miko, who's then run into the rear of Tom Ward as a result. Really unfortunate end for their nights, Bernie.
Yeah, we're having a look now. Andrew Welter's come unstuck. coming onto the back straight here. It's Tom Ward actually checked up. He had a bit of contact and checked him up a bit, and then Andrew's gone straight up the back of the number 8 and caused... Well, it's not his fault. He had nowhere to go, and then he's been rear-ended by the number 11, which is Benjamin Soko. So it's all going off.
It's all really happening, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like Tom Ward's been in the wars again through the spoon there on that lap, Bernie, as you say. It's all checked up in front of Andrew, and he and Team of Escalampy have had a car park incident nose to tail, so to speak, and then also car number 11, Benjamin Soko, as you say, has also been involved. Been quite spectacular after such a clean start to the race.
Yeah, so if we're looking at our top 5 at the moment, folks, Miko Nasi, he's leading by about 0.3 of a second over Andrew Precario. Borges, the big winner out of this, he's up to 3rd at the moment, 2.5 seconds down. And then he's got Tom Ward behind him. Jeremiah Morton is your top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, Jeremiah is the biggest mover and shaker, Bernie. He's up 10 positions off the grid, but he's under incredible pressure from Ishmael Hernandez. Ishmael, we've had a few races with here this week. He's been really fast, and if not for the overall strength of this field, he would have been expecting to be well up inside contention for the podium, Bernie, but he seems to have got away relatively well, unscathed, so to speak, from this field. His team is tucked in behind him as well. Sam Catagazinos not far behind these guys, and Luke Whitten trying to fight his way back just ahead of Gustavo Conde in 9th and 10th respectively. But lo and behold, up the front, not completely unscathed, you've got the great Miko Nasi out in front, taking on Andrew Precario here for the perhaps, I'm not going to say an unlikely victory, Bernie, but certainly an eventful one.
It's been unfolding all around him, hasn't it? And Miko's come up, played the patient game, and everyone else has just crashed into each other, and he's just come through.
Yeah, he's done well. Of course, he had a bit of nose-to-tail action in that hairpin incident between Tom Ward and Luke Whitten just previously, Bernie, but doesn't seem to have held him back too much. And Andrew Precario, of course, I mentioned before, I haven't seen him race before, but his performance tonight has been outstanding, still to be in contention at this stage in amongst all the carnage, Bernie. But I'm also really surprised to see Tom Ward, after everything he's been through, Bertie, with just the 2 laps remaining as they've gone past the start-finish line at the beginning of lap 9. He's still sitting in 4th, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he's managed to bend the both front wings there evenly, so it should be handling okay, considering he's now balanced the damage.
Yeah, it looks like a poor man's moustache there, really, doesn't it? But he's hung on pretty well, all things considered, albeit for a very action-packed race. Luke Whitten now has been overtaken by, I see him, he's losing, struggling to hang on to the rear end of that car through the snake curves and continuing on behind Gustavo Conde now. He's lost out to Gustavo there, and Gustavo now putting pressure on Sam Catagazinos in 8th position, who in turn is right on the tail of the team of Escalampy as they head out through turn 8 now into the Degna. I have trouble saying that corner. Turn 9, shall we say. Catching a bit of the inside of the ripple strip. Oh, Timu, the rear of the car stepping out there now as they head through turn 9, Bernie, up into the hairpin. Sam's got a great run out of there and looks to go straight past Timu as they head down to the hairpin on that 9, Bernie.
And you can see now Luke's on the inside of, I think that's Gustavo. The move didn't pay off though, and then we've got Timu right behind him. Enzo Kanda also, you can see in the background there, folks, he's putting the pressure on Ben Snell.
Yeah, Enzo, of course, he'll have the bit between the teeth, so to speak, Bertie. Sitting in P12 at the moment. Little brother, not the only thing giving him trouble tonight on his left foot, Bertie, but he's now putting pressure on Ben Snell, as you say, is just up ahead of them. Team of Escalampy has dropped about 4 spots this lap alone, Bertie, really struggling as they come out of Spoon now onto the backstretch.
And we're riding with Andrew Precario here as we come down through 130R again. He's lifted a little bit, probably sizing up where he thinks he'll be able to take Miko. And we're coming up to, should be the last lap board this time by.
Yeah, white flag coming out this time, Bernie. Interestingly, as you say, Andy Picario lifted there. Miko well and truly left the door open through the final chicane now and moves right over to the left now down the front straight and leaves the passing opportunity on the inside of turn one wide open for Andrew. Invites him to have a look, but Andrew seeking to make his attack later in the lap. Had a little bit of a dress rehearsal without making the move into the final chicane, I imagine. Damage notwithstanding, Bernie, that's where he'll make his move, either through 130R to set up the final chicane, would be my bet at this stage, or maybe even you think he might be able to pressure Miko into a mistake in the closing stage of this race. I'd suggest he may not know Miko that well, because I wouldn't expect a mistake from here, Bernie.
No, I think if you're waiting for Miko to buckle under pressure, you're probably also waiting for it to snow at Christmas time in Australia.
That's right, he's got that ice running through his vein that all the Finnish seem to be born with, Bernie, and he's got Andrew right on his tail now as they head through turn 9 and up through turn 10 into the hairpin for the final time. Bernie not close enough to have a look here and perhaps not willing to, as he waits for those final corners there, the run up and out, in and out of Spoon, to really set himself up for a final lunge, Bernie.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because he's running out of opportunities. We saw he did get in the slipstream before and he lifted slightly on Miko. So this time through, though, I reckon he's not going to lift. He's got...
No.
I was going to say 4 perfectly matched tyres. He can go on the outside.
That's right. He actually ran a bit wide on the entrance into Spoon there and got the rear a little bit loose, but it looks like Miko's actually made that mistake that we were thinking he wasn't going to make. He's got a very poor run out of Spoon. Takes the inside defensive line there. It looks like Andrew Picario is going to grab the draft and go straight by him without the risky manoeuvres through 130R or after, although Miko now's got the draft through 130R. Be interesting to see what sort of line that Andrew takes out of there. Well within his rights to take the defensive line. He's going to make Miko work very hard for his money here tonight, Bernie.
Well, I don't know who's making who work hard, but it looks like Miko's going to do it. Maybe. No, he's not.
No, he hasn't got quite the run through the final chicane as he would have hoped, but it all came down to his exit out of Spoon as they go across 1-2 tonight. Andrew Picario just hedging out Miko Nasty there over the line, Bernie.
Yeah, and we can see the rest of the field coming through. And I tell you what, we were riding there with Andrew, and I tell you what, he kept it tight, didn't he? He wasn't going to let in the Enzo Candy. Didn't do a wiggle tonight, folks. He blew his motor on the line.
Yeah, that's right. I've just seen Andrew Welter just doing cartwheels down on the run into 130R, Bernie. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's gone through the support pits area there and not been able to hang on to what is a very second-hand looking car on the closing stage of the race, Bernie.
Yeah, we're watching him struggle here. The last race, he tended to do the same sort of thing. Yeah, as we can see now, super slow-mo, straight through, straight in.
He got spat out the other side, though. That was the problem.
He did get spat out the other side. I shouldn't laugh, but
well, look, he's just sitting on the finish line now, not quite sure whether to finish or not. He's going around for another run by the looks.
I think he's a bit stunned. He doesn't know where he is at the moment.
Potentially.
That's the way, Andrew. Go across the line.
Go on, mate. We want the results. Just finish.
Just get over there. Anyway, we'll leave him to worry about how he's going to cross that line as we go through the full results here, folks. Just got to find where it is. There it is. So if we have a look at our results, Andrew Picario takes the win tonight from Miko Nasi. If we look at the movers and shakers here, we've had a few. We'll look at them in a minute. Borja Zazo comes home in third. Fourth, Tom Ward. Fifth, Jeremiah Morton, followed by Ishmael Hernandez in sixth. Sam Catacasinos, he comes home in seventh. Eighth was Luke Whitten, followed by Gustavo Condi in ninth. 10th was Enzo Cantor. 11th, Ben Snell. 12th, Benjamin Soko. Then we have Hakon Grebstad home in 13th, followed by Russell Clark in 14th. Timu Vaskalampi 15th. Andrew Welter finished 16th. And Dennis Johansson, we lost him very early on from the event, and he actually retired.
Yeah, he got that slowdown early on by the looks. I'd have to confirm that, but I'm not sure what happened to him after that. Very tough field to work your way back from last place through, but yeah, shame for Dennis. He's a great driver. He's had some great results around here, and shame for him to finish that way tonight. Interestingly, though, the action up front really opened the door for some of the other guys who weren't quite of the same pace, but managed to keep it straight, so to speak, tonight with Jeremiah Morton, another driver who's new to me, but certainly the leading of the Australian-New Zealand club drivers tonight, finishing up 10 spots in the top 5 there, Bernie. Fantastic effort from Jeremiah and what I think is his opening Monday Night Lights performance. Sam Katagazinas, the next to the Aussie New Zealand club members, up 6 spots in P7. Luke Whitten, after that incident that we saw early in the race, managing to get back up, fight his way back up to 8th. Unfortunately, they're down 7 from that amazing pole position that he snagged, Bernie. So not the night he perhaps would have hoped for, and that his pace deserved, Bernie, but that's all part of racing, isn't it?
It certainly is, and Jeremiah Morton gets the big mover and shaker award, as you said, 10 positions, and that's the biggest move forwards. The biggest move backwards, well, that's dead heat between Andrew Welter and Dennis Johansson. They both dropped 12 positions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Andrew thought of that race. We talked about him being up to his neck in talent in and around him to go along with his own, but certainly experience was probably on the side of the guys around him. I don't think it was necessarily his actions that brought him undone tonight, but I'll be certainly interested to have a chat to him during the week to see what he thought of it all, because it was a stellar field tonight, and quite a lot of action out there at the same time.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think he would have been enjoying the race in the early start, but then when it got a bit hairy there and there was a few incidents, that's probably where the smile left his face at that point.
Yeah, quite possibly. Just to answer one of the questions from our live stream, it wasn't the highest strength of field for the week, but at 4,230, it actually snagged the second highest strength of field for the week. So, as is also noted, really high points on offer for the winner here tonight. Andrew Picario taking out 240 official championship points, which is a fantastic haul of points given what's on offer tonight and how difficult it would be to grab those points, Bernie, with plenty on offer, plenty to take away, and congratulations to Andrew on managing to hang on, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. Big congratulations there. And looking further in the week, folks, while we're waiting to see if anyone wants an interview, Friday night on RRTV, the Australian Online Supercar Championship is back here, and we start with an Enduro, I think it is. So we're going to be covering more of that this season. We're covering the 650s, 150s, as well as the 6060s, so you'll get a lot of V8 supercar action. And then, of course, hopefully, Saturday night, we've got the Asia Pacific GTE series coming to you live, 10 p.m. Saturday night, Australian time. We had 62 cars on the grid last time, and some drivers still could not get in. So it's going to be interesting to see how the organisers arrange that. But we've got a good representation of Australian teams going up against the best in Asia, so that's going to be also fantastic. And then if you still want more racing, join us Sunday, and we'll be bringing you the Selby Endurance Championship. That'll be kicking off at 9:45, and it's an 8-hour now instead of the 10-hour. So hopefully we'll get a big turnout for that, and that should round out a week of iRacing here on RRTV, Alex.
Well, that's a jam-packed week of action, isn't it, Bernie? That's fantastic to see. That GTE series, of course, 60-odd drivers on the track. You say that just speaks to what we were talking about last week, the popularity of those new cars. And having driven the Ferrari myself, I can tell you it's a pleasure to drive. I'm not usually a tin-top man myself, but they're a lot of fun to drive and just ooze quality about them, Bernie. And I can see why they're so popular. That's a massive field, and hopefully the organisers enjoying that popularity and make the most of it, Bernie.
Oh, definitely, and they've got some big sponsors behind them this year, which is fantastic. And there's big things. I know the winner can win a very nice prize. So there's actually prize money up and all sorts of things. So we're definitely pleased to be bringing that to the viewers once again. But also, folks, while we're waiting, RRTV, one thing about our telecast here, it's quite a social event, as Alex was saying, having a look at the chat channel. So there's a couple of ways you can get in touch with us while we're broadcasting live. The first one, of course, is go over to YouTube and use the chat channel there. We monitor that. The second way is you can go to Twitter, and if you use hashtag RRTV Live while we're broadcasting, we'll be able to get your tweets and answer any questions, or you may be able to give us some information. Always after inside info, aren't we, Alex?
Yeah, that's right, Bertie. It's nothing like a bit of user interaction. It's a good fun. It's a good part of online racing, and the way you can get in touch with us directly and hopefully contribute and add to the broadcast and get something out of it at the same time. It's a wonderful state to be in online racing, Bertie.
Yeah, it certainly is. But I tell you what, one thing, they're all shy tonight, mate. It doesn't look like they're going to come out for a chat tonight.
No, there's a fair few floating around, but no one perhaps game to come up and debrief after such an eventful race, Bernie. It was certainly very enjoyable to watch. They kept it nice and clean for the first half of the race, and then as things started to wind up, I guess the surprisingly challenging nature of the circuit came out, and it's very easy to make small mistakes in the big ones here, Bernie. It sneaks up on you, some of the challenging parts of this track. It looks like you can go 2 and 3 wide, but really there's only one line through a number of these corners, and I found out a few of the guys here in this stellar field. So just goes to show you how tricky it can be here, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly can, but I tell you what, we were treated to one heck of a race. So, it just keeps on delivering this Skip Barber Championship. We had a good one last week, another one this week. Tell you what, if this keeps on going, I'm going to have to strap myself even harder into this chair.
That's right, Bertie. There's plenty going on. I tell you, interestingly, it's one of the comments made is you don't often see car number 10 win in a field like this. Now, Andrew Picario, again, he's picked up 100 I-rating points out of this race, Bertie, and he's cracked 4,000. Now, 4,000 is a very high score for your average punter out there, puts you well inside the top 10% of drivers in the Skip Barbers, at least by rating. And for him to come out and win this race is very, very impressive, particularly considering that he was up against the great Miko Nasi through those final series of corners, Bernie. So well done to him. Borja Zaza had a really quiet race sitting behind, but he's raced strongly here all week, Bernie. He's had some fantastic results, and his rating is skyrocketing as well. He's just about to crack 5,000 after this race, Bernie. So really, really big congratulations to the top three, Bernie. A very, very well fought and hard-earned race.
Certainly was, and I tell you what, I was really impressed with the way Andrew made that move. Miko made that mistake coming onto the straight, but Andrew capitalised, put the elbows out then and held him out for the win. So fantastic driving there, as you said, by Andrew, and well-deserved win.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, Tom Ward amazingly ended up finishing in fourth, Bertie. He was up 3 spots from his qualifying position, but I think he had contact with nearly everyone in the top 10, Bertie. So how he kept that car in one piece is beyond me. But congratulations to Tom on a great result.
Yeah, I was going to say, over those couple of laps, he did get it quite excitable.
That's right. Yeah, he's done well to finish where he did, Bernie, and pick up a nice bag full of points. 195 championship points to Tom tonight, so hard-earned points, I'd say, too.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's whenever you can pull in a lot of points in this calibre of field, it's normally hard earned. But I guess, Alex, how did you go trucking last week? You're going to be doing any more of that this week?
Yeah, very relaxing in the Euro truck. I found that quite amusing at first, but then quite relaxing at the same time. But no, folks, if you're interested in checking out a bit of the Skip Barber action during the week in between the great RRTV broadcasts, head over to Top Split TV on Twitch. I'll be streaming some of the the Skip Barber races during the week. Of course, we'll be off to... where are we off to? We were just driving there last night. One of the free tracks that's escaping me at the moment, Bernie. But, of course, I'll also, in your absence, be broadcasting the broadcasting the Australasian Super Skips next Sunday night. So plenty of action in the Skippies next week. And then, of course, we'll be back again next Monday night, Bernie. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and it'll come around pretty quick, as it always does. Looks like we've got Jeremiah Morton in the green room. Do you reckon we should have a quick chat with him before we wind this up, or do you reckon we should just let him sit down there?
We'll bring him up, mate. I'll let you welcome him to the booth. Hang on, I'll just bring him up.
Hi Jeremiah, welcome to RRTV's Combox, and you just got in on time because we're about to go off air.
Hi Bernie and hi Alex, that's good, I just made it in time. Good to be here in broadcast.
Yeah, so we had you in there as the biggest mover and shaker. I think you were up 10 positions tonight, so let's have a look. Yes, you are up 10 positions, so that's a fantastic effort in this calibre of field.
Yeah, thanks Bernie. There was a couple of contacts in front of me, which I kind of got lucky with some of them, but just really wanted to focus on keeping it straight and keeping it clean, and usually I'm keeping and defending my line, but with Suzuka being a long straight circuit, you need to make sure that you don't inconvenience yourself. So that's what I was trying to do tonight, and it seemed to pay off for me.
Yeah, it started to get a bit crazy there for a couple of laps. Did you see any of the carnage around you, or did you just manage to stay out of it?
I saw a bit of the carnage. Enzo went for a bit of a spin and stuff. A couple of other little carnages coming near the back straight, which I just avoided Russell Clark, and I was lucky to avoid him. But yeah, there's a lot of contacts out there, and I was very lucky to avoid them.
Yeah, well, fantastic effort all the same, Jeremiah. As I said, biggest mover and shaker award tonight. We've got Alex McCullough over here. I'm sure he's going to ask you some sensible questions.
That's very generous of you, Bertie. Welcome, Jeremiah. Mate, I haven't had the pleasure of racing with you before, but I just had a quick look at your profile, and you've done a bit of the skips this week. Is this a car that you run frequently?
Yeah, well, I haven't been running this car until this season. I saw that the Monday Lights broadcast was really popular, and being Skip Barber, it's a nice car to drive. And I thought, well, I might as well dedicate this season to driving. So I've done all the rounds except for one of them in the Monday Lights, and just been... usually I don't have much time to practice, but with university break, I've been able to do a couple of races this week, and so I had a bit of preparation under my belt before coming into tonight's race. So, yeah.
Well, that's great, mate. It's an incredible field to line up in. How was the racing out there, mate? You started 12th. I don't know if you saw, but it was a 4,200 strength of field, mate. So, and a lot of the really big names in the Skip Barber community out there on track tonight, mate. So, what was it like rubbing shoulders with some of those guys?
Oh, the front runner guys were absolutely brilliant. They were driving the socks off the Skip Barber. I don't know how those guys extract so much speed out of it, but they do. And yeah, it was one of the unfortunate things that I witnessed right next to me was Russell Clark jump starting. I think he was having an issue with a clutch or something, and yeah, that sent him down the order a long way.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Russell. Of course, strong local driver for Team Milo, and wouldn't have helped his chances much at all, mate. But once again, congratulations! Up 10 spots off the grid in an action-packed race, but in a field like this is a fantastic effort, mate. So hopefully we'll see you back here again with many more good results to come.
Thanks, Alex, and thanks, Bernie. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, fantastic, Jeremiah, and we're looking forward to see you back out on the track, and hopefully you'll pop back in and have another chat with us.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Well, folks, that's our one and only interview tonight, but it's great to have a chat with Jeremiah, biggest mover and shaker tonight, and he's done pretty well, hasn't he, Alex?
Oh, he's done fantastically well, but I've just managed to grab a hold of the second split results tonight, Bernie. Some of the big names that we normally see, of course, in the top split, the likes of Mick Gray, Kevin Henderson, Dennis Fiedler, Alex John and Tim Hendrickson, all relegated to the second split tonight. I'm very pleased to report, though, that for the second week in a row, Mick Gray's taken out the second split. Fantastic result for Mick after starting second. He's just pipped by less than a second regular top split contender Kevin Henderson, Bernie, who managed to keep his engine intact for yet another week, Bernie, with Anthony Catt in third position, João Oliveira in fourth, and Dennis Fiedler, whilst not making the top split tonight, managed to grab a top 5 position. He's actually running where is he, third in the championship overall, and with that result and no Darryl Ridley in sight in those results, he'll actually most likely jump up into second, Bernie. So not a top split appearance for him, but still a great result.
Oh, fantastic, and hopefully the guys will work on their iRating and try to move into the top split, but it's getting harder and harder each week, but I tell you what, it's great all the same.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm really pleased the turnout we're starting to get. We're frequently, obviously, well inside the top 5, but to crack 4,000 on what's been a relatively slow week for the Skip Barbers is really, really pleasing, and it's a fantastic opportunity for the guys to come out and race in a really high standard, Benny.
Yeah, exactly right. So anyway, Alex, it's time for us to say goodnight to all our viewers, and I guess I'll rub shoulders with you again next Monday night, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, Bertie. Thanks again for your great support, and thanks again to all the drivers for coming out and making a great night.
Yeah, and thanks to all the viewers, both watching it on YouTube and iRacing Live, and we hope you've enjoyed tonight's telecast. On behalf of Alex McKellar, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll have your company again this Friday night for the Australian Online Supercar Championships. But until then, have a great week. Good night.